Hey guys, it's Julia and welcome back to my channel, and for today's video I'm going to be doing a book review, and today I'm going to be reviewing Hunger by Roxane Gay. For a while if I should do a review on this book or not, but you guys requested it and I did absolutely love it. It's just, even my Goodreads review was like 3 words because I just don't know how to like wrap my thoughts around this book and be able to discuss it properly with you guys. Basically my Goodreads review was 3 words: I am speechless, which is exactly how I felt about this book. Basically, this book does have some trigger warnings, so I'm going to state those before I get into the review. But if you guys consider trigger warnings like spoilers, or you don't want to hear the trigger warnings or whatever, just skip over this part. But this book does have trigger warnings for eating disorders as well as rape, so keep that in mind before picking this book up. Basically, I'm not going to be holding it up because my lighting is just fluctuating and I don't know what's happening here. But this book is a memoir of Roxane Gay and her body, and her struggling with body image and her battle with gaining weight and then wanting to gain weight to feel more protected, if that makes sense. Just came out recently. It came out like a month or 2 ago. It's brand new. Roxane Gay wrote Bad Feminist, if you don't know, which is a book that I also really liked. Hunger blew me away. I thought the writing was absolutely beautiful. It was captivating. It's nonfiction, like, because it's like a memoir, but it was absolutely amazing. I just love her writing style. It flows super nicely and is so beautiful. There's so many amazing quotes in this book because like I tabbed it a ton, and I would just totally suggest picking this book up. Basically, there were so many things I loved about this. I didn't want it to end. I wanted to stretch it out. I wanted to keep, like, I just didn't want it to end. I was really liking it. It talked about a lot of different topics and I just thought they were all super important. I personally do see a lot of books about things like anorexia and bulimia and other eating disorders along those lines, but I've never read a book that dealt with like the other side of the spectrum, so obesity and binge eating and things like that, which I thought was super interesting, and we definitely don't get enough of it in literature. Important because when you discuss like books that deal with eating disorders, it's I almost always hear people bring up a book that deals with anorexia or bulimia, which is absolutely amazing. I love hearing representation for those, but I've never like stumbled upon a book that deals with the other side of the spectrum. I thought that was just really important, and I really enjoyed reading about this perspective. And you know, when you see people who are considered obese in public, maybe you think a few things, you judge them or whatever, I don't know, but whatever that is, like whatever you do there, or you think, oh, like they just did this to themselves, like they could stop this, they could work out, go to the gym. Read this book and maybe you'll find a better understanding for people who are like overweight and who are struggling. So just read this book if you want to know more about that, and that everything's just not what it seems. And I just got like Wizards of Waverly Place flashbacks, but yeah, just think about it just gave me a whole new perspective, and I definitely think of things a lot differently. I reread this in the future. I thought it was absolutely incredible. I loved how this book described so many things, and I just loved how fleshed out and informative this book was. It really touched me, and I adored it. The writing was amazing. I adore Roxane Gay. Like after this book, like I love Bad Feminist, but this book was just way, like, it just blew me away. I thought it was absolutely amazing, and I just gave it a 5 stars automatically, which is honestly just enough for me to recommend it, because I don't do that ever. So for me to just be like 5 stars was amazing. So yeah, I just devoured it. I loved it. I would highly recommend it. Talked about like body shaming as well, and how if you're overweight, underweight, average weight, whatever, weight's a very touchy subject, and I think people should be more cautious when they do discuss weight. So I don't mean any offense to anyone in this video. I was really nervous about making a video like this because I don't want to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing or give the wrong impression. So yeah, just know I really care about the subject matter and I just don't want to mess it up. I truly knew shame. I did not know if I could ever find my way past that shame and toward a place where I could face my body, accept my body, and change my body. Talked about her fear of men after she's gone through an experience. She thinks that to scare away guys exercise, if you consume a lot of food, if you gain weight, they won't really talk to you or come up to you. Basically, she says, I could keep men away. Even at a young age, I understood that to be fat was to be undesirable to men, to be beneath their contempt, and I already knew too much about their contempt. What most girls are taught, that we should be slender and small. We should not take up space. We should be seen and not heard. And if we are seen, we should be pleasing to men, acceptable to society. And most women know this, but we are supposed to disappear. But it's something that that needs to be said loudly over and over again so that we can resist surrendering to what is expected of us. Didn't make you want to read it, then I don't know what will. There's so many amazing quotes in this book about how when some people are struggling, they turn to food, which I think gets made fun of a lot on the internet, and it gets really, like, people joke about it, like, oh, I'm sad, I'm gonna go have some ice cream or whatever, and it's really just made light of on the internet, but I just don't think it should be. Some people, when they're really upset, they won't eat. Some people, when they're upset, they will eat more. I've definitely been through phases where I've had like binged eat before, and I think a lot of people have binged, but when I mean binge, I don't mean just eating like a plate. I mean like constantly eating to fill this need, to fill this want, which I don't talk about, but I just thought that was absolutely amazing that she mentioned in here. It's like, I've been through personally so many issues growing up, which I don't talk about, but I've been through so many issues growing up with body image, basically in today's society, being male or female growing up, or anywhere in between. Definitely growing up, there's so many issues with weight. People expect, or a pretty girl is seen to be slim, like big eyes, big lips, nice hair, all that sort of stuff. Thin legs. I remember when I was younger, I wanted a thigh gap so bad. It's definitely like, it was a thing to have a thigh gap, and I really wanted one. And like, I went to measures to try to get them, and I never got there. And it's just something that there's just these goals that people strive towards, and it's great to want to get fit and be healthy, but there's a point where it's just too much, and you have to like stop yourself at a certain point, because you don't need to have the skinniest body. You don't need to have the thinnest thighs or the thinnest legs. And body image is something that definitely I struggled with, and a lot of people do as well. And I also want people to know that it's not just women who struggle with body image, guys do as well. Being super fit, guys struggle with that. They're supposed to look masculine, and they're supposed to have abs, and that's what girls like, or what other men like, and things like that. So it's just super important to keep in mind that body image is like a huge thing, especially now, and it's super important to read books like this to get a different point of view and things like that. Basically, I know this review was super kind of everywhere, but I love this book a lot, and it meant a lot to me personally, and I did share some personal kind of things. Definitely don't really like talking about like super personal stuff on the internet or anything like that, but I thought for this review it would really just show how body image is so bad nowadays, and people just really push themselves too much, or they put all these expectations on them, and it's really bad. And I just want to make this video because I know some of you guys watching are struggling with eating disorders, or like have struggled with an eating disorder, and I think it's super important, one, to get help. I know that's super cliche to say, but I'm just saying this because if you guys are watching my videos and you haven't like seeked help for an eating disorder, it's super important. I know it's scary, but it's super important. Like, please listen. It's like vital to seek help in any way possible. I did want to make light of it today's video, as we are talking about a book that does deal with topics like this. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you're new here, and give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all super soon with a new video. Bye.